The New Orleans Pelicans are currently off to let's just say a not amazing start, to say the least, and put it in a nice way. And that has caused a lot of things to kind of happen. A lot of dominoes are currently falling, as they're obviously not paying Brandon Ingram anymore, as he doesn't want to be there. He turned down a $50 million a year offer, which I couldn't imagine anyone is giving him more than that. I just don't think he wants to be in New Orleans anymore. And this is coming from a Pelicans fan, by the way. But on top of that, they're also chopping around guys like CJ McCollum and Zion Williamson as well right now. And it looks like they are basically having a fire sale on the entire roster, making a situation with Zion pretty odd, because his entire career has kind of just been a up and down roller coaster, and like almost like a blue balls tease type thing, bro. Like, he's sometimes looking like an all-NBA first-team player, potential MVP candidate, and then other times, well, he's on the bench in street clothes for a very, very long time, and his team is greatly struggling. So I'm going to be basically getting to all of his injury issues, some myths around Zion, and then even some potential trade partners in this video. So that does sound interesting. Please watch the video all the way through. And without further ado, without rambling on too much, let's get right into this video. So the first thing I'm getting into for his video is going to be just his brief injury history, okay? Everybody knows about it, so I'm going to keep it kind of short. But I mean, he's only played in 6 games this season. There's been 30 games played, so he's been out for the vast majority of this season. And in his entire career, he has only played in 190 games out of a possible 440, which is only a 43.18%. Not great, okay? Definitely not amazing, and it's just been a very rough go for him when he's there. Now, when he is healthy, he is an amazing player. Like, he makes the Pelicans look like a beast, and that is what they kind of starts the dilemma with him, because on one hand, you're a small market team with this absolute superstar level player when he's healthy. The other problem is that he is never fucking healthy. Last year, he played 70 games and just got very unfortunate with injury timing. I think in the second to last play-in game of the season, he went down with a hamstring injury, and that is just insanely bad luck for the Pelicans and Zion. And he played 70 games, so it's hard to bash him for that. But this year, he's only played 6 games now, and there's a very real chance he doesn't really play many more games this season with them, or at all with the Pelicans as an organization, if they do decide to trade him. So it's kind of a weird situation, because as a small market team, you want to keep these superstars because they're so hard to get, because you can't get them in free agency, and a lot of times you can't get them in trades either. But man, let's get to a point to where if you keep waiting, his value is only going to go down and down, especially if he keeps on getting injured. And as his contract gets less years on it, people are going to be like, we'll just wait for him to hit free agency and we'll get him then. So it's going to be very, very hard to keep Zion around if he keeps being injury prone. So on one hand, if you trade him and all of a sudden he finds out how to stay healthy, that's going to really suck for the Pelicans. But if you trade him for a few first round picks and some young guys down the road that have high ceilings, and then he stays injury prone, that would be a huge W for the New Orleans Pelicans. So there's definitely a lot to balance right here, and a lot to go over if you're in the Pelicans front office. And then one of the myths I do want to completely get out of there is the fact that he's injured because he's comes in the season overweight or out of shape. That's just not true. The past 2 seasons, he has came in unbelievable shape. Like, it's been widely reported in the offseason and even the beginning of the season that he was in amazing shape. He's just unlucky as a person. He missed the entire playoffs last year despite being in amazing shape. And this year, he came in amazing shape once again, and he has missed almost the entire season. So it's not like it's a shape issue or weight issue like a lot of people are saying. Yes, it was in the beginning of his career, but he's matured since then, and he has definitely been in better weight or in better shapes coming in. And I think he's just an injury-prone player, which is just very, very unfortunate. And yeah, so that's a whole myth. I can't imagine anyone would actually think that in the front office, because it's just simply not true. But I will say, it looks really bad when you just get injured every time, because then it kind of opens the way to keep those rumors alive, even though if they're not true. But now that I got the entire injury issues out of the way and what the dilemma is for the Pelicans front office, I kind of want to get into some potential trade suitors that would be for Zion Williamson. The first team is going to be the New York Knicks. I feel like this one's pretty obvious why I picked them. The Knicks have been probably the most rumored team around Zion since he's got in the NBA to trade for him or him go there at one point in his career. And right now, this is probably their best chance to get him. But even though I think the Knicks are probably on most people's radars, I think they have a pretty unlikely chance of getting them because, let's be honest, I mean, look, yes, they've been widely reported to get him. They could trade a lot of picks and maybe a few role players like either Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, but I don't know if they would really want to do that, or even Karl-Anthony Towns, but I really don't think they would do that. And due to that, them not really being able to put together a crazy trade package, I would say it's unlikely that the Pelicans would trade them to the Knicks because they have an open variety of who they can trade to. Anybody in the league probably wants to trade for Zion because of how talented he is. And I mean, a package of a whole bunch of first round picks that are going to be in the late rounds because it's going to be with the Knicks with Zion, Cat, Brunson, and either Mikal Bridges or OG Anunoby, Josh Hart. Like they're going to be a really good team when they're healthy. So I don't think you would want to go for that. And on top of that, is Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby that great on a team that already has Herb Jones and Trey Murphy, two wings? Probably not. So I really don't think that the Knicks are going to be able to put together a great trade package for Zion, and especially not compete with some of these other teams I have on the list. And the second team is going to be the Golden State Warriors, as they have recently been heavily rumored to want to trade for Zion. There's a ton of rumors and articles right now going out around them. I would say Zion would fit their system extremely well because they're a very big floor spacing team. Obviously, they have Steph Curry, one of the best floor spacers in the NBA, in NBA history at that. They have Podziemski, Buddy Hield, Andrew Wiggins. Like, they have guys that can score and shoot the three at a pretty high level. So they're going to really be able to spread the floor. And if you can spread the floor for Zion, that is huge because Zion is unstoppable at all times in the paint due to how good his touch is. So he would fit them extremely well. On top of that, they have a lot of young guys that they could potentially put in a trade package like Podziemski, like Quentin Post, like Jonathan Kuminga. So I think there's a lot of players plus picks they could throw in there that could be very alluring to the New Orleans Pelicans front office. And so I think as a possibility wise, it is very possible that they could make a very strong offer. Plus he's a great fit for their team. So that's even more incentive for the Warriors to make a good offer to the Pelicans. And I think this would probably be one of the better fits in the entire league. Now, no one would want to see it because everyone is tired of watching Golden State win championships at this point. But still, this is probably a great situation for the Pelicans and for Zion if a trade was to be made between these two teams. And then the final team I'm going to have on this list is going to be the Dallas Mavericks. Now, the Dallas Mavericks would form a pretty damn good big four. They'd have Luka, Kyrie, Zion, and Klay as their big four, assuming they don't trade any of them in a trade for Zion. They do have tradable pieces on this team. The only problem with them trading for Zion is I think their defense would just be absolutely atrocious. Okay, like their defense, Luka, Kyrie, already not great on defense. Zion, for the most part, not great on defense. When he wants to be good on defense, he is good, but that's not very often. So their defense would probably be pretty horrendous. Plus, old Klay Thompson isn't nearly as good on defense as he once was. So that is 4 of your 5 starters being pretty below average on defense at most times, which is not ideal for trying to be a championship contending team. And as far as like the realistic possibility of them doing it, I would put them at a maybe. Because yes, they could offer a pretty okay package, but I think the defensive issues would be a pretty big concern if you're the Mavericks front office. A fit concern even. Now, yes, his lobs from Kyrie and Luka would be great, but they also have guys like Lively and Gafford on the team. So are you going to do now just go small ball with Zion? Are you going to try to play big? Like, who are you going to bench? Because you're probably going to bench PJ, and PJ might be good off the bench. He might not be, because if he has to be the number 1 guy off your bench. So a lot of weird things would have to be figured out for a trade for Dallas, and I don't think they would do it. I think by far the best situation would be the Golden State Warriors as of right now, as of the teams that are actually rumored to trade for him. And there's a few other teams I could have put on this list, but that's the 3 I really want to get into because I think they're pretty interesting or just make the most sense. So I think for sure these are the 3 teams that probably have a pretty high probability of at least trying to make a move for them, and I think the Warriors have the highest probability out of all of them for the reasons that their trade package would probably be the best and the fact that they also would be an amazing fit in general for Zion as well. So really, to wrap things up, Zion is just an amazing player who has very bad injury luck in his career. Like, even when he comes into shape, he misses a lot of time, which is just very unfortunate for a guy as young and talented as him. Like I said, legit all-NBA first-team player if he could just stay healthy for an entire season. He is that damn good of a player. He's 100% an all-star when he's healthy. Like, he's just all around a very, very solid player in the NBA. The Pelicans front office is going to have to make a decision. Do they want to bank on him maybe becoming healthy later in his career, or do they want to take advantage of his trade value now and try to get a lot for him before he walks for nothing? So you definitely have to balance these things. If you're the front office, you have to balance whether you're going to make a fire sale on the roster, you're going to build around Zion, or you're going to do it. There's a lot they have to figure out. And then teams as well are going to have to figure out some good trade packages to give Zion. And I think the Warriors are a pretty high contender for them if they really do want to go out and get him, due to how good of a package they would be able to provide. Plus their system fits him very, very well. But unfortunately, guys, that's my first video. So comment below, do you agree with me? Do you think Zion is going to get traded to any of these teams? Do you think he's going to get traded to another team? What do you think the Pelicans front office should do with Zion? What are your thoughts in the comment section below? And don't like the point, hit the like button, and subscribe button, and mean the absolute word to me. And I hope you have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah, blah.